My name is David Brook from Connecticut, and I've been seeing Dr. Maykel for several years. The first time I had come to see Dr. Maykel, it was actually as a result of an autoimmune disease that I have called spherocytosis. Basically, my body doesn't think that my blood cells are my blood cells, and so my spleen especially, it kills those and causes the particles that make up blood cells to go throughout my body. Doctors had recommended that I take my spleen out. However, Dr. Maykel was able to provide me with resources and some medication that allowed me so that wouldn't be the case. In 2010, basically what happened is that some issues with my liver caused my body to go completely yellow. My eyes were entirely yellow. It was like the movie Avatar. So I went to Hartford Hospital. They admitted me there, and they did blood work. They did tests for 2 weeks and couldn't figure out anything that was, they couldn't nail it. They sent me down to Yale, and I stayed there for 2 weeks, and they couldn't figure out what was going on with me either. Eventually they put me into the liver transplant section there, and they had sat my fiance at the time down, my wife now, and they basically sat us down and said, hey, this guy's got to get his liver pulled out. We're going to, put you on the list, and this is what's going to happen to your life. You will never be able to have sushi again, which was a huge disappointment. You'll never be able to do some of the activities that you're normally, used to doing. You can water ski, you can play any sports in certain areas, and basically it was a super sobering time. It was before I had gotten married, and everything was put on hold. I had to cancel my whole wedding. So they had no idea what was going on. They couldn't do anything for me at Yale. Even the top doctors there had no idea what to do. They were scratching their heads. So I said, hey, I'm done, and I left the hospital. I came home, and my family said, hey, why don't we try to go into Dr. Maykel again? So we went up here. He looked at me and with complete confidence says, David, I can turn this around. And it was absolutely refreshing. For one, someone was looking at me, not scratching their head. He was almost looking at it, not even as a challenge, it was just, I can do this. With a few simple medications that he had, all natural, as opposed to everything else I had been taking, which was virtually counteracting each other. Something I was taking before was causing me to stay up late at night. The other thing was trying to cause me to fall asleep. I had no idea what was going on with my body. I hadn't slept in 3 days when I came to see him. So anyhow, he put me on some of these natural medications, and within 2 weeks, things had started to turn around. We went to the labs, we got my numbers, and they had started to drop dramatically. For instance, bilirubin, which makes your skin yellow and has a lot to do with pigmentation in the body, normal levels are around 1, sometimes 0.5, tops 1.5. My levels when I had released from the hospital were 58. I was completely yellow. I was a school bus. But when he had put me on these medications, it started to drop. It dropped in the first week from 58 down to 40s. And then the second week from 40s down to 30s. And I started to see my skin return to normal. When I went for checkups, doctors were baffled. They had no idea what was going on. I had told them that my family had been praying. I had told them that we had been here to Dr. Maykel, and they couldn't believe it. They discounted everything. But I just looked at them and I said, listen, I gave you 3-4 weeks of my life, and you couldn't do anything. And in a week, I had been here. Everything's turned around. So proof is in the pudding. Dr. Maykel continued to see me, and my numbers continued to decline. Not only that, but after things had started to return to normal, my body had even started to fight this condition, and now my levels are, at normal people levels. I have a lot to be thankful for, not only coming to Dr. Maykel's and for him seeing me and treating me, but treating me naturally, treating me with confidence, treating me to the point where I felt like I was in good hands here. And I can't say enough about this whole process here. When I came to see Dr. Maykel, he gave me a few supplements that were natural, some of those being Wob enzyme, others being collocal, others being psyllium, which directly helped my body and provided my body to function in its optimum state and to actually start healing itself. When I went to Hartford Hospital for a week or so and then onwards to Yale, I believe the total bill when I'd seen on the insurance, it was upwards to $60,000 to $75,000 for that stay, which was, covered by insurance. When they had put me into the liver transplant program, they were talking about costs upwards over $100,000 for this, something that as a 23-year-old I couldn't afford. There was no possible way. When I came to Dr. Maykel and he had treated me based on a first visit, medications, and follow-up visits, my total costs were around $1,200, a drastic and much more affordable option than compared to traditional medicine. He put you on medicines that aren't working against your body, they're working for your body. Dr. Maykel's knowledge and certainty about conditions was very assuring. Everything that the doctors before had said was either questioning, they had to go look it up, they had no idea what to do. When I came here immediately on the first visit, he knew exactly what he was talking about. I think Dr. Maykel prides himself on being able to look at the human body from a holistic approach. He can look at the entire body, and when you're coming to him, you can be assured that he knows about your issue.